Boys lacrosse, the topic here for Greg and myself as we look at the top 20 boys lacrosse players of the BCSN era, 2004 to the present day. Alphabetical by last name, ignore the rankings, alphabetical by last name, starting with Noah Best, Will Bone, Evan Brandt, Reese Hill, Zach Jackson, Will Kester, Scott Loy, Will Loy, Austin Pavane, Carter Pavane, Nick Provenza, Riley Seidel, Drew Stansley, Ryan Stansley, Elvis Soroka, Joe Torty, Quinn Wicklund, Alex Wisner, Brandon Yoshino, and Jared Yoshino. So if you have eyeballs, it's clear to see, Greg, loads of brother tandems on this list.
No question about it. And even starting with the guy, there's always a gold standard guy or gal on any of these lists. And for this one, it's Scott Loy.
Yes.
He was three-time All-American, All-State in football, hockey. But lacrosse was his main sport. Lacrosse was a sport he loved. The other sports he could have pursued, but he followed his passion. He went to Syracuse and had a chance to play with the Ohio Machine in the professional ranks, and was just, I think, clearly, to me, he's just the most impressive lacrosse player that's come through Northwest Ohio. And talking to him about that, because he's coaching St. Francis now, which is great, and his father was coaching before, and he said, it was just really tough with the Machine. They had so many of those just outstanding players that you got to compete against. This is Scott Loy saying this.
Yeah.
I mean, that just shows you how good you got to be to make it to the professional ranks, and we've had so many in other sports that have done that. So very impressive. But St. Francis, when we first started, they were a club program actually, and they weren't with the elite programs. It was Sylvania, the Maple Leafs, and then they split into Northview, Southview, and it became an official sport in Ohio. And they had some great games with St. John's, Sylvania. You see all the lists of Sylvania players. They won 3 straight club championships, and St. John's was really strong, and they had the most entertaining matches. I mean, 18-16, you'd be down 7 goals in the third quarter, and you come back and lead by the fourth. Today, you play a whole game, and it might be 5-3 with 2 minutes to go. It's totally different games back then and now.
Yeah, you look at some of the other brother combinations there, the Pavane brothers, Yoshino brothers, Stansley brothers as well. They stand out as well because in some of those, they were on the same team at the same time.
Yeah, then the Pavanes, of course. Chris Pavane was the head coach that I think as much as anybody was responsible for bringing St. Francis into that level of prominence where for a while, they were the program that had maybe the best chance to win a state championship. One year, they used to call it, I look forward to it every year, it was called the TALA Tournament, the Toledo Area Lacrosse Association Tournament, and St. Francis upset St. John's in the semifinals, and that was like announcing to everybody that St. Francis has arrived. I think they used to be called the Wolf Pack, if I'm not mistaken, but by winning that, it's like they are now one of the elite teams in the area, and they just kept going right on from there.
All right, it doesn't matter what sport we're talking about. Greg Franke, an encyclopedic memory with all of these top athletes. Let's get one more look at the top 20 boys lacrosse players of the BCSN era over the last 2 decades. Congratulations to all 20 on this list, their schools, their families, their communities, as we continue throughout the month of December to look at the top athletes per sport on Sports Nightly.